On this episode of Latinas, we'll learn about the African roots of Bomba Plena, meet comedian Milly Tamares, and so much more. Latinas starts now. Welcome to Latinas, the show that's all about nuestras mujeres in the Latinx community. I'm Tina Beth Pina. February is Black History Month, and recognizing Afro-Latinidad is one way we celebrate it, not just this month, but all year long. Bomba y Plena, the percussion-driven musical tradition of African heritage that is practiced in Puerto Rico, is being taught, revered, and preserved right here in New York City, specifically in the Bronx. Elena Romero headed uptown to learn more.
Brought to Puerto Rico in the 17th century by African slaves, bomba remains one of the most popular forms of folk music on the island and serves as significant evidence of its rich African heritage.
At one point, as you know, it was almost extinct. And that's why it's important to me as a woman of color, as a Black Puerto Rican, to show the world that yes, en Puerto Rico hay negro. En Puerto Rico venimos de todas partes. We come from all parts. We can be active and we can be proactive and document our own history and our own stories for the next generation. And that's exactly what we do at Bombazo.
Dancer and cultural activist Milteri Tucker Concepcion founded Bombazo Dance Co. and Bombazo Wear 16 years ago, with the mission to preserve the history and traditions associated with bomba and plena, the narrative storytelling of current and political events.
So plena is, and the skirts are much shorter, right? So we go side to side, tumpa, right? So we go ha. Plena. And we also dance it with a partner, right? We go around. Es más jocoso, right? Where bomba is a little bit more weighted, and some of the rhythms are a little bit more weighted, it's a little bit more serious, like the rhythm of yuba, tukutum, tukutum, right? Connected to the ancestors, but it could also be very playful, like wembe, right? Cadera. So bomba has like 20-something rhythms. Plena is just one rhythm, right? But each pandero, so we normally have three, each person has a rhythm that they need to hit to create this one rhythm.
Tucker Concepcion offers free bomba y plena dance and drum classes to adults and children at The Point in the Bronx.
There was a need and there was a thirst to learn more. The community wanted to learn how to dance. And when I started my company, I not only did the traditional aspect, but I also wanted to continue to elevate the form of fusing it with contemporary and social styles of dance.
39-year-old Tucker Concepcion, who has apprenticed with bomba elders and distinguished families in Puerto Rico, also custom designs bomba and Caribbean skirts for dancers.
These are skirts on a mission that are for the culture, by the culture, and it just continues to help not only the community here through our organization, but also back at home in Puerto Rico. So we've been able to, from the sales of these skirts, support other cultural warriors in Puerto Rico.
So how long does it take to make a skirt?
Mira, esa es la pregunta de los 60,000 chavitos. A good 2.5 hours just for one skirt. Because of from cutting, everything from cutting.
And is this a la medida?
A la medida. These type of skirts, I feel that it cannot be generic.
Bombazo Wear skirts have been featured in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and on PBS's Alma's Way and at the Centro Cultural in Ponce that commemorates Black History Month and PR Fashion Week. When
I first started a few years back, with the company, I didn't know anybody here that could sew these type of skirts. I feel like the newer generation is it's like an awakening of, this is my African ancestry because of why? Again, we don't want it to be extinct.
For Latinas, I'm Elena Romero.
Latina-led coalition in Brooklyn runs a volunteer food distribution site that aims to build solidarity in the neighborhood. Shannon Ayala has that story.
A bachata rhythm was flowing at the last iteration of Comida Pa'l Pueblo.
It's a food distribution, and it's completely free. Everything is free. Also, we don't just do food. We do produce, non-perishables, prepared meals, PPE, and clothing.
Bati Rodriguez and Bianca Lugo are two of the organizers involved in Comida Pa'l Pueblo, a volunteer-led food distribution that's been going on every other Sunday at Moore Street Market, also known as La Marqueta, in East Williamsburg, Brooklyn, since the height of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We've been sticking to the place where we do regular distribution, which is in front of La Marqueta, which is, in a historically Puerto Rican neighborhood right there.
Comida Pa'l Pueblo emerged as a response to the economic impacts of the pandemic. In 2020, the citywide unemployment rate shot up to more than 20% and was even higher in neighborhoods like the East Williamsburg or Bushwick area, and especially for Black and Latinx communities. The situation has only gotten slightly better in New York compared to the rest of the country. Demand for food pantries remains high. Rodriguez says Comida Pa'l Pueblo stands out because it comes from within a community in need.
So this isn't like a white-led, nonprofit-led food distribution. This is a food distribution by the people for the people. We work with a lot of the Black and brown families in these communities, immigrant families, a lot of folks who are homeless too, we serve, and some folks who just got out of the horrible prison complex. Also, different groups have come with non-perishables and produce, and a lot of even restaurants in the area have donated to our efforts with hot food.
Also, we were doing it outdoors. So for a long time, it was all through word of mouth. The area that we're in, it's surrounded by public housing. There's a lot of elderly folks and a lot of people who spend time outside. So the word just spread. And so it kind of felt like a block party, like every 2 weeks. A COVID-safe block party.
To keep Comida Pa'l Pueblo funded, they launched an ongoing fundraiser that raised $27,000, but say they'll need more funds. After a winter break, they say they'll be back in spring 2022.
The hope is to continue to do this because it's an ongoing need.
Shannon Ayala for Latinas.
February is also the month of love, but what can we do to celebrate our sweethearts all month long? Chef and lifestyle expert Brent Herrera is about to give us some tips.
So I have 4 really exciting things that you can do once every week to celebrate these really beautiful people in your life. 1, how about a super sexy, really fun date night at home? Again, it could be your spouse, it could be your best friend, it could be your siblings, it could be anybody that you want to share that really special time with. I say pop a bottle of wine. Enjoy cooking a meal that both of you are going to be like, oh my gosh, we did that together. You're gonna be able to tell stories and share a really lovely evening with. I have a really delicious recipe that I'm going to encourage you to make. It's these delicious, spicy ancho chili short ribs that I love pairing with truffle risotto. If you don't have that, you can do rice. It's so good. And you're both gonna walk away eating a tender piece of meat. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, when are we doing that again? If you're not into cooking for yourself, that's fine. Guess what you can do? You can hire a local private chef who knows how to throw down in the kitchen. You can do a simple search online, go to your favorite restaurants, ask if the chef is willing to come into your home, and have them curate for you and that special loved one a special spread that you guys are gonna be like, oh my gosh, we wanna do that more often. A third really fun way of expressing your love for your loved one, or just kind of spending some really fun, intimate time, is to do adult coloring. Who knew that it could be so incredibly peaceful and really inviting of just some special time with your friends? I did it recently. I painted a fish, and I had no idea that I had this little hidden talent of being able to color, and I loved it. Another great way of celebrating the entire month of love, February, with your loved ones, is to do a family tree, specifically with your family. Do a family tree using pictures. The pictures are gonna be so incredibly special. You'll be able to surface memories that you didn't even know existed with your abuelita, your grandparents, your uncles, siblings, and just build this family story that is going to be maybe new to you, but again, that you can pass on, and just remind you that you come from a dynamic family full of love and that you can pass on from generation to generation. So again, my name is Brent Herrera. 4 great ideas to celebrate the month of love. Dinner date at home. Invite a private chef into your home to do all the cooking for you. A lovely evening of coloring book for adults. And lastly, a family tree using pictures of your family.
Raquel Coronel Uribe, a history and literature major from Miami, is the first Latinx president of the Harvard Crimson, one of America's oldest college newspapers. Raquel, a cancer survivor, is a junior studying history and literature. The 23-year-old has worked as a reporter at the Crimson, covering police accountability, as well as being its social media manager and newsletter editor. La Colombiana's parents are also journalists. Raquel Coronel Uribe is today's Badass Latina. Preparing your daughter for her first period can seem like a daunting task, but it shouldn't be. We're about to hear from 3 Latina moms who shared their first memories with Aunt Flo and how they're making sure it's a positive experience for their daughters in today's Caliente Caliente.
The day that I got my period, I had to come home from school early. I was in the 6th grade, and I said to my mother, I got my period. And she said, oh, pues tú eres señorita ahora. And it was like a very sarcastic, like, oh, so now you think you grown. And I had no idea what that was about. I was like, I'm just trying to figure out, what do I do about this, right?
My mom took me to the doctor, and the doctor explained, I guess, physiologically what happens. And I was scared, I was mortified. I thought, what if I have an accident in the middle of school? Like, so many questions and fear, and just, it was very uncomfortable.
Wow, I had a totally different experience, totally different. I have a sister who's 7 years older than me. So when it was my turn to get it, I already knew everything. I knew where the pads were. So I remember my mom was like, we're gonna have a period cake. And we celebrated it, and everybody was really happy. I was kind of like, whatever. I feel like the way our parents present it to us, that's gonna reflect in how we react to it.
Absolutely. I have a daughter now. She goes on YouTube, and they have like these channels, and so she's actually looking forward to it. She's 9, and she's looking forward to it. And I think, like you said, the way you present it definitely impacts how they see it.
I have a Girl Scout troop that I've had since they're 5 years old. As soon as, like, once they started turning 9, the parents approached me and they're like, can you do this for us? Can you teach the girls? And I was like, no, that's not my job. But when I sat and I talked to the parents, I realized that there was so many different schools of thought on it. And I was like, okay, I'll do this. We'll come up with like a kind of a curriculum for the girls. I said, but you guys need to be there. And not only do I want you there, I want the fathers there.
And I love how you involve the fathers. Like, my father had absolutely nothing to do with any of that and did not want
He didn't
any
want
involvement
to know. Yeah, my father did not want to know anything about it either.
My daughter's father and I were divorced when she was about to get her period. And I remember that for me, it was important for him to also be engaged, because I wanted her to see that while we were not together as a partnership anymore in terms of marriage, that we were going to still partner in co-parenting. And it was so powerful, because then when she had to talk with him, I think he took her for ice cream, she came back home and she was like, Mom, Dad was talking to me about weird things. But she felt really good about it. You could tell.
I think it also creates an openness, like we can talk about it and there's something to look forward to. And I definitely want to give her a different experience than I had. I want to be the one who explains it to her.
I think that we need to change the perspective on it, and we start with our little girls and make it very comfortable for them. So I made these cute kits. A friend of mine, she screen printed it, and inside, it's got the pads, it's got hand sanitizer, a little red bracelet, and comfort tea, period comfort tee. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just so cute. But it's something that they can keep in their book bags. It's small.
Yes.
And, you know, it's a celebration of the gift we have. So it's a good thing.
For some families, I feel like because of intergenerational trauma, there may be some complexities around how do you celebrate or not? How do you engage or not?
There's a lot of women that have never opened up and had a discussion about this, because why would they? You know, when does it really come up? And I feel like it's an opportunity to heal some of those misconceptions. Absolutely. And also the way we view our bodies. Our bodies are amazing. I mean, male bodies are amazing too, but ours are really, really the bomb. And
yes.
The fact that we're not happy about that. We don't celebrate that. And I think that's an opportunity for us to talk to our friends and kind of be like, well, what was your experience and how do you feel about it? And, you know, it's an opportunity to heal a little bit.
The pandemic unfortunately canceled several performances in New York City, but renowned choreographer and dancer Ciudy Garrido is back in the Big Apple to perform Flamenco Íntimo, a journey through the emotions and pure roots of flamenco.
Tuve la oportunidad de nacer en un hogar donde el flamenco ha sido nuestro alimento del día a día. Mi madre es una mujer que dedicó su vida a la difusión del arte flamenco en América y en mi país natal, Venezuela. De pequeñita recuerdo que en el colegio iba audicionando por todos los salones para encontrar ese material artístico con el que yo pudiera comunicar lo que tenía en mi cabeza.
Bailaste muy bien, ¿cómo te llamas?
Ciudy.
Ciudy, ¿cuántos años tienes? 6 añitos.
Y ya a los 18, 19 años, después de haberme ido a España, de haber trabajado con otros maestros coreógrafos como artista-intérprete, empecé a madurar más. Y fue en el año 2000 cuando monté mi primer espectáculo, Caminos Flamencos, que fue la primera pieza de mi compañía, un espectáculo de 1 hora y media. Y bueno, ahí comenzó el camino de Ciudy Garrido Flamenco Company. Definitivamente ser una bailadora latinoamericana ha sido el mayor reto que he enfrentado en mi vida. El arte flamenco es un arte que es visto propio de España, donde obviamente nace este arte, pero hoy en día realmente es un arte universal y llevar esa bandera, ¿no?, de demostrar que es un arte de todos y para todos y que no importa la nacionalidad que tengamos, siempre y cuando realmente lo conozcamos a profundidad, estemos constantemente estudiando, viviéndolo, amándolo y trabajándolo con el respeto que se merece, podemos ser grandes exponentes a nivel internacional. Ese ha sido mi mayor reto, tener que siempre pararme a demostrar lo que soy, porque a primera vista parece no serlo. Tengo una tipología totalmente diferente a la que cualquiera puede esperar de una bailadora de flamenco, además procediente de Venezuela, latinoamericana y radicada en los Estados Unidos. Amo el flamenco de raíz, aunque me encanta comunicarlo con otros géneros. Soy una gran amante del flamenco puro y busco siempre estudiar de los grandes maestros para tratar de evolucionar o tratar de enviar y comunicar esa voz propia que realmente es honesta y auténtica de cómo he crecido. Flamenco Íntimo es una suite flamenca de música original del maestro José Luis de la Paz que creé en el año 2016 buscando justamente regresar a eso íntimo, a eso que me llevó a dedicarme al arte flamenco. Después de vivir una pandemia de 2 años, cuando nos tocó regresar al espectáculo y me di cuenta que era imposible estar en el mismo lugar donde estaba antes de la pandemia. Y lo que me ha demostrado es que es un espectáculo que constantemente está creando sobre lo ya creado, porque va evolucionando así como evoluciona la intimidad del artista. Definitivamente en todas mis propuestas coreográficas hay una mirada muy femenina y hay esa influencia de mujer latinoamericana. La femenina es definitivamente una mujer luchadora que ha tenido que abrirse camino en un mundo de hombres. Mi compañía es una compañía mayoritariamente de mujeres, somos todas bailadoras con músicos hombres, donde yo he tenido que ser directora, coreógrafa y productora. Así que es una voz femenina, pero también llena de fortaleza y de empoderamiento, que demuestra que las mujeres hoy en día tenemos una voz muy fuerte y mucho que comunicar.
Fashion Designers of Latin America, or FDLA, is the multicultural fashion event of New York City. But how challenging is it to produce a fashion show during the pandemic? We're about to find out.
Yes, it's been really hard to navigate throughout this pandemic in the past 2 years, especially producing the events to keep and sustain our fashion designers' brands and to keep them in business.
Right now, I'm the creative director in a shoe company in Mexico. And we are also manufacturing the shoes here because we have also a factory. It's not just design. I'm the face, but it's a lot of people behind.
What we've been doing for the past 2 years is considering safety first. We have to follow a very strict protocol when producing the shows, especially the live in-person shows. All of the logistics have dramatically changed to the point where we have to cut our audiences more than half, keeping all the models safe, reducing the amount of staff and the team that works backstage as well.
I think that it's really good to go there because we have the opportunity to show to other people the things that we can do in Mexico. Every shoes that we make here is making by hand.
Our designers from Latin America, they bring diversity, they bring inclusivity into this industry. There's a story behind every garment. There's a story behind every designer. And what I want people to learn through our platform is that each designer comes from our countries, they have a family behind, they have all these people who, to produce one dress, there's a long list of people involved. But it's really important also to consider the people behind the seamstress, the people that cut the patterns, the people that are sewing.
We have the opportunity to show all the talent that we have in all Latin America. We are a really, really good talent people here.
The comedy industry is known for being dominated by men, but women also know how to be just as funny. One of the ladies climbing the comedy ranks is Milly Tamarez, and that's why she's today's Latina on the Rise.
Hey white people, are you feeling super guilty because your race overwhelmingly voted for and thus elected Donald Trump? White forgiveness is a service where you Venmo me and I will publicly acknowledge you as one of the good white people.
Meet Milly Tamarez, a Brooklyn-based Afro-Latina comedian who went viral last year after a video sketch she produced called White Forgiveness blew up on YouTube.
So White Forgiveness was like a service, right, where white people could pay me money and I publicly forgive them. Most people were really receptive, thought it was funny, and there's just always gonna be people who don't like it. I feel like, I don't wanna be like getting credit, but like, I feel like it really set a trend of like mini reparations.
Like many comedians before her, Milly got into comedy through the famous Upright Citizens Brigade and their diversity program.
At UCB, like you take classes and stuff, but like classes are kind of there to teach you the technique, but you don't get good at the technique unless you practice a lot. So it's just very common for people to create their own teams. Being with other women and women of color that like have had to move through the world and have been used to being othered and stuff, like was so like opened me up and made me stronger.
Understanding the challenges of the comedy industry, Milly created an easier path for other comedians like herself and started the Diverse AF Comedy Festival.
I'm in this space that's not seeing me. I'm in this space that's not appreciating me. I'm in this space that's not highlighting me. I'm gonna make my own space. A place like highlighting people of color and like just diversity in general, just like identities that you don't see majorly represented in comedy.
Milly's Dominican background also plays a role in her comedy.
There was like a bit that I used to do where it would be like, I'm reading my 23andMe results and it was like 100% plátano, like just a plantain. And then the other one, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna go on Ancestry, like Ancestry's gonna have it. And then the next one is like a baseball. and then I do it again, and then the last one is just like a bachata shoe.
Millie has been featured in Vulture, Bushwick Daily, and Gold Comedy. And as she continues to conquer the industry, she has a certain mission in mind.
I don't want people to see like Black people or people of color or women or Latinx people in this one singular way. I want them to see them in layers. I want to also have the privilege to be silly and write stupid jokes about weed and like farting and dumb stuff too. Like that is also my prerogative, like what I want to do too. And I never want to walk away from it or be too self-serious or take myself too seriously where I can't joke about things that I just find funny.
And that's our show for today. For more information on what you just saw, check out our website at tv.cuny.edu and follow our social media profiles because we love sharing our Latina stories with you. And please make sure you tune in next month. We'll meet award-winning experience curator Yaz Quiles and so much more. ¡Uepa! Hasta la próxima. Bye-bye.